Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Handshake. My name is Amal Chaudhary and today we will be talking about how India's aggressive foreign policy is making a mark at the international level. In the mean streets of international politics, if someone harms you and you take it lying down, the chances are that you will be pushed around as a patsy whom no one respects or fears. Knowing when to retaliate, in what proportion and against whom is an essential aspect of growing up and holding one's own in this competitive world. The nationalistic New India of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made some tough decisions. Be it surgical military strikes across borders, isolation campaigns against state sponsors of terrorism or international legal cases to secure justice for citizens, the Modi government has vigorously defended India's national interests. Another element of this assertive diplomacy trend is emerging. India is leveraging its economic power and global standing to wrap countries that are crossing it on core interests. The forceful measures New Delhi adopted to convey its displeasure to Turkey and Malaysia after their leaders criticized India's revocation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir and assisted Pakistan to avoid being blacklisted at the Financial Action Task Force, that is the FATF, indicates that a Rubicon has been crossed. India will no longer meekly grumble and move on. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's propaganda at the United Nations that Kashmiris were virtually under blockade with 8 million people unfortunately unable to step outside. And the fake news spread by Turkish and allied Islamist news outlets about massive protests in the Kashmir Valley did not deserve to be forgotten by India. Modi went into action through a variety of calibrated counterattacks. His proposed visit to Turkey was called off as a symbolic snub. A $2.3 billion contract to a Turkish company to build support vessels for the Indian Navy was put on the chopping block. And in light of Turkey's controversial invasion of northern Syria, which involved international law and breathed new life into Islamic State terrorists, India came out swinging with uncharacteristically blunt condemnation of Turkey's illegal conduct. Malaysia has also been trying to persuade India to join a mega regional Asia trade agreement known as the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, that is the RCEP. Modi's 3Ds, democracy, demography and demand, are cards to bring Malaysia around to a balanced position or at least calm down its rhetoric on Kashmir. Given the decades-long history of Mahathir's usage of Islam for vote bank politics in Malaysia, he will not apologize to India or abandon Pakistan. But since he is now in his early 90s and Malaysia runs a healthy trade surplus of $4.4 billion with India, Kuala Lumpur has more to lose than gain by annoying India in the medium to long terms. The same cannot be said for Turkey, which has a trade deficit with India and where Erdogan's Islamist ideology has crossed all limits. Erdogan's grandiose image as a leader of the entire Muslim world and his championing of cause worldwide where he believes Muslims are being victimized are obstacles for India to sway Turkey. Still, given the severe deterioration of the Turkish economy and the weakening of its currency in recent quarters, the loss of supplying contracts from India worth billions and India's refusal to sell sensitive dual-use explosives and the detonators are strings which New Delhi can pull. In an earlier era, India did a lot of hand-wringing when members of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, that is the OIC, including Turkey and Malaysia, sided with Pakistan on ground of religious solidarity. Then the familiar lament in New Delhi used to be just talks. Now Modi is challenging the die-hard Pakistan backers with material disincentives and daring them to back off. The toughest nut to crack in this quest is China, which canvassed for all-weather ally Pakistan at the UN and chided India for unilateral changes in Kashmir. Unlike relatively weak Turkey or Malaysia, China is a superior power with whom India has a direct disputed border and multiple vulnerabilities. India cannot risk arm twisting China and hence Modi is trying a different route of managing bilateral differences with President Xi Jinping. Great powers has historically flexed muscle to pressurize countries which urge them to fall in line. Today, China and the United States have far bigger markets and militaries than India to succeed in compellence game. But the fact that India has embarked on the path of carrying a big stake and wielding it is a welcome development. So this is it from this episode of The Handshake. My name is Amal Chaudhary and for more such videos, keep watching My Nation.